and welcome to the Dritz Dresden channel. I'm Ski Nerd, and that is Derv, and we are here to review more One Piece. Speaking of One Piece, don't forget to unlike and unsubscribe so that if we get it under 10,000, we don't have to do this anymore.
Nope.
Why do you do this to me?
We're about an eighth of the way done with current.
We're not even at 200. That's not an eighth of the way.
I meant season-wise.
Oh.
We haven't even discussed what we're gonna do, because I don't know if we're gonna get caught up with the hiatus for the anime or not.
But that would be a fifth.
But because they did announce that the One Piece anime is gonna go on hiatus for 6 months, picking back up in April.
That means we can go on hiatus for 6 months with One Piece. Perfect.
No, only if we get caught up.
No.
After that, we haven't decided if we're gonna just continue like 10 episodes a week or 20 episodes a week, or just wait till the season's done.
I think it'll be better if we wait till the season's done.
We haven't thought that far ahead.
Well, we're thinking about it right now, and I'm making a decision.
So once we get done with Wano, we'll wait till Egghead is done. Because Egghead is the current arc of the anime.
Okay.
And Wano is so far probably the longest arc of the series.
Coming in at 300 episodes.
I think it was like just
300.
I think it was like 150, 150 plus.
Hey, when they make those animated stuff, is it ever live?
What do you mean?
Like, live. As, like, people are saying things, the cartoon is, like, being shown and, live.
I'm confused.
I was making a dumb Simpsons reference. They're like, yeah, we tried that one time. It was way too hard on the writer's hands. Because they would draw the picture. You can't draw the pictures live,
We're gonna also try a different format tonight. Mainly because we're doing the first 15 episodes of Skypiea, and there's a crap load of characters introduced.
Oh yeah.
In just 15 episodes. And we'll just go through the characters introduced first, and then we'll go into the story. I think that'll be the format from now on.
Okay.
Or at least till we think of something better. This is not in chronological order. First, we got Bellamy, who was introduced. This guy right at the top. He has the spring fruit.
Yeah, he can turn his legs into springs, and he's like, I got springs, bullet missile attack. Haha.
Then we have was he even named in these episodes?
Yeah, Blackbeard.
We have Edward Teach, better known as Blackbeard.
Yeah. I thought he was working for Blackbeard, then he's like, no, you are Blackbeard. I was like, what?
Who's actually based on a true historical tyrant.
No way.
Not many characters from One Piece are actually based on actual characters, actual people. Blackbeard's one of them.
I like tyrants. This guy named Ty, he goes on rants all the time.
And then we were introduced to the Monkey Brothers, Masira and Shoujo.
Shoujo, the monkey clown.
I forgot to get their bosses in here. Their boss.
Oh, Candle. What was his name?
Then
Cricket. Cricket.
we have Jesus Burgess, but we can just call him Jesus. His first name's Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
I was confused first time reading the manga and seeing that, and I was like, why are they calling him Jesus?
Well, they don't have any concept of Christianity in this universe.
And then we have Kuma. Bartholomew Kuma, one of the seven warlords. Then we have the other seven warlord, Doflamingo. Then we have Nolan the Liar.
No land.
And then Canis.
Whoa, Nolan. Yeah, he died. Remember, like 400 years ago.
Yeah, but he's still introduced as a backstory.
The liar. Okay. I suppose that works.
Then we have Canis. Her father, Pagea. McKinley.
Captain McKinley, thank you very much.
The Sky Knight, Ganfall.
Ganfall.
And his
Ganfall.
And his Mount
Is
Pierre.
Pegasus. It's a bird that took the horse fruit. The zone fruit.
Then we have the five elders.
Beast.
Five elders that at this point you don't really get much of.
They just mentioned the five elders like super quick. They're like, oh, it's the five elders. Oh my god, we're having a meeting, a little meet and greet.
To be honest, at the point in the manga, you don't really know much about them yet either.
Figured.
Then we have Son Goku, who's one of the admirals.
Goku's in this? Oh man.
Which is one of the Marine admirals.
Hey, he's not wearing orange.
I know this is a later picture. Then we have Vice Admiral Great Tactician Tsuru. He made me put that.
Yeah, she was mentioned as one of the admirals.
Yeah, but you made me put her full title.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Then we have Lafitte, who is a member of Blackbeard's crew.
Wow.
Then we have a member of the Red Hair Pirates, Shank's crew, named the Rockstar. Then we have Edward Newgate, or Whitebeard.
The most strongest man in the world.
Then our last then we have Sniper Van Ayer, another member of Blackbeard's crew. Then last character, then we have Doc Q the Reaper, another member of Blackbeard.
He's a doctor.
Then we have Amazon. And that's all the characters introduced, and that's why I figured just going through all the characters, because this half had a buttload.
Buttload of characters. We only had 2 devil fruits.
Yep.
So, let's get into it. Alright, well, we introduced to Laboon the Whale and no, I'm just kidding. That was like months ago, man. Alright,
no,
so
that was like a month ago.
it was like months ago, man. 1, 2, oh fuck. I mean, feck. I am the king of Fectopia. Okay, Sky Island is where they hear about Skull. Oh, right. They hear about this place called Sky Island, and Nami's compass. The what are they called again?
The log pose
Log pose. Her log pose is
starts pointing
magically going
upwards.
up, and she's just like, "What? Why is it pointing up? That makes no sense." And a ship falls right on their ship, an old ship from like 200 years
Yep.
ago, and it sinks. And so Sanji, Zoro,
And
and
Luffy.
Luffy are forced, volunteer to go down into the depths to grab any kind of treasures they can find off this ship. And while they're down there, another ship comes, and we are introduced
To Masira.
Sierra. Oh, I forgot one thing. Um, Nico Robin does a history check on Skypia, and she tells
Masira's
what
the
she
one in
knows.
orange rider of
Yeah,
these two.
and basically Nico Robin does a quick history check of the lore of, they say that there's Sky Island above them, and it's a myth, it's a legend that there's an actual island up there. They're not actually sure that there is. But of course, Luffy's just like, I'm gonna go visit Sky Island, and it's pointing up, so I'm gonna go up there. That's his conclusion. Anyways, um, Masira, he's a very smart monkey. He runs into they run into him and his crew, and they are scavengers, and they're like, "Oh, we're here for a ship," uh, and I hope you're not salvaging. And she's like, no, we're just here to watch you. I mean, look at our small ship. We can't do anything with this small ship. We don't have anyone down there right now, I swear. And he's like, oh, okay, cool. And then it's funny because like his people like they get reports of like, oh my god, our people are being beaten up down there. And Nami's like scared that they're gonna find him out, and
And
he's
so
like
basically,
careful. He's like careful. There's horrible people down there.
and also basically, you can read on her face, even though this is animated, what what the frick did Luffy do this time?
We don't know.
No, I meant that you can just kind of read it in her mind. That's
Oh,
what she's thinking.
oh, oh, because she was beating people up, or he was beating people
Yeah,
up.
like what did Luffy do this time?
Yeah. What did those scoundrels do? Okay.
I just meant because it's animated, so it's not like a human being.
Mhm. All right. So yeah, they're down there and they're scavenging some stuff, and they do find a treasure chest down there, but there's just a feather in there. And meanwhile, the other ship, the Masira's ship, is like a giant. It's like a giant claw machine thing, and they hook the ship, and they start bringing it up. And Masira, with reports of his crew getting attacked, Masira goes down there himself to see what's going on, and he sees Luffy and Sanji and Zoro, and they just start getting along together. They're like, "Oh my god, you guys are awesome!" Ha ha ha! They're just laughing, and all of a sudden we see like a giant monster about to bite the ship, and so the next episode happens, and it's found out that it's a giant turtle, and um, they slowly the three of them are still down there, and they're trying to gather as much treasure. And then Masira gets really mad at them. He finally figures out that they're salvaging too, and he gets mad at them, and they're about to fight each other. But then it starts, all of a sudden it goes dark, and the turtle, this giant turtle, which is like 10 times bigger than their ships, um, is overshadowed, and we see giant creatures in the sky. They're like humanoid shape, but they're so big that they're blocking out the sun. And even the turtle gets scared by this, and so everybody's just like, yeah, crap, let's just run away. So they all run away, and they're able to um, make it. They get away, and then they're told that I think Nico Robbins says that there's this island called Jaya, very close to them, and so they come into town, and um, oh, we get a brief cutscene to where Captain Buggy is too. So as they're going to Jaya, the island, we get Captain Buggy, and they're having a party. Ace is there, and we're told, like, Captain Buggy says to his crew, "Hey, don't worry about it. You don't want to mess with Ace. He's with Blackbeard. You don't want to mess with those people. Or no, he's with Whitebeard. You don't want to mess with those people like that." And so, yeah, don't mess with the Whitebeard pirates. Uh, that's the conclusion. So after it's like a super brief thing, a little update on um, not Chopper, Captain Buggy. So they make it to Jaya, and um, it cuts to a town. I forget what the town was called. Do you remember what the town was called?
I don't.
Okay, maybe I wrote it down. Oh, it's called Mocktown. So it cuts to Mocktown, and people are playing some poker game or whatever. Some guy loses, and this is where we're introduced to Bellamy, and Bellamy loses, and he starts like crunching this other guy's hand, and says, "Oh no, I didn't lose. You actually cheated." And the guy was like, "What do you mean I cheated?" And they punch him and they take his money anyways. So let's see, and then we see a sniper. A sniper shot a seagull above the Going Merry, um, and we see this random guy who's a sniper, and it's like, oh, cool, that was a cool shot, and that was just quick. Uh, and then we're introduced to the Bellamy gang, and these guys are no good. They're the big gangsters in town, and Luffy and his crew, I should say the Straw Hat Pirates, they go to this hotel, and they're immediately told by the hotel clerk, "Hey, you need to get out of here. There's this other gang that's here, and they won't like it that you're there." And they happen to be coming back to their hotel room. Shoe puff, Jesus Christ. Um, they have a hotel, and they're like, "Hey, you need to get out of here." So they leave, realizing that okay, they're not gonna be able to be at this hotel, even though they complain. And then Luffy and meets this pie guy, and one of them says this is the best pie ever. The other says this is the worst pie ever. And then they take a drink of ale, and then and then the opposite happens. One of them says this is the best drink ever. This is the worst drink ever, and it's um, Luffy and Pie Guy, and they get along together. And Bellamy's in there, and he's just like, "What do you guys?" They're talking about dreams or whatever. And they ask about Sky Island, and everybody in the uh, place just like laughs at them. They laugh at Nami and Luffy and Zoro and all the people of the Straw Hat Pirates are like, "Ha ha ha." There is no Sky Island. What do you guys have dreams? No, dreams are dead. There's a new era coming, and anyone who has dreams, you're stuck in the past. We're headed towards the future, and the pie guy, he he had left previously, and then as after they there's a huge scene with Bellamy attacking Luffy and Zoro, and Luffy says to Zoro, "Don't fight back." Like after he insulted his dream, his whole philosophy, kind of thing. They were getting beat up, and they were all like bloody and stuff, and Nami doesn't understand how this fighting works, and Luffy doesn't see Bellamy and his gang as like high quality people. He sees them as like below, and he understands like if I fight back, um, how do you explain it? If I fight back, um, it's that then we're if we fight back, then we're sinking down to their level, and they're nothing compared to us, and that also means that their philosophy of dreams are done, uh, would be would be them accepting that their philosophy, and so they just don't get mad. They just, I mean, they're pissed, but they don't even just say anything. They don't even fight back, showing their their real strength. And if and it also shows how weak the Bellamy pirates are by attacking people who aren't even fighting back, and they think they're strong, but it just shows that they're not strong at all. Cool. So that happened. Uh, no Sky Island. Dreams are dead. Uh, Luffy says, "Don't take them on, no matter what. No matter what happens." Let's see. Oh, and then after they get, quote unquote defeated, um, they offer to buy Nami. They're like, "Oh yeah, that's your captain? Oh man, he's so weak. Oh, hey, girl, I can buy you, and we can have fun. You can have fun times and go on adventures and stuff." They're like, haha, and she's just like super insulted by this. Like, she's like, "What? You want to buy me? That doesn't make any sense." Um, so then they walk outside, and they're all bloodied up, and the Pie Man heard everything, and he's just like, "Hey, don't worry about it, son. I believe in dreams, and stick to your dreams and don't listen to what they have to say." And it shows that they have the same philosophy of, this whole the Gold Roger pirate era and follow your dreams kind of thing. Um, let's see. And he also acknowledges that Luffy and Zoro won the fight because they didn't fight back. Because he's a very wise person for doing that. Let's see. R. Who's R? I think that's Nico Robin. Robin found a map
Yep.
of of Jaya Island. She was doing her own scouting. She found a map of the island. Um, we see oh right. So they find a map and they're like, oh, there's a place here on the map where there's this guy named, was it Cricket?
Yep.
And there's apparently a story of Sky Island. The person who lives there named Cricket knows something about it. And so they're like, all right, let's go to the north. I think it was like the northwest portion of the island. And they're just to be clear, I believe that they're on the south part of the island. So they kind of go around. If you're looking at the map here, they go around like this to this is where they're right here, and they go like this, and they're like, whoa, here's Cricket. Rickety Cricket. Um, and they make it there, and they run into a guy named Shoujo, which is that guy. And we learn very, very quickly.
That's what Cricket looks like.
That's Cricket. And we also run into a guy named Shoujo, who is there, and they're like, hey, what are you doing here? And they're like, oh, we're here to learn about Sky Island. And when they make it there, no one's there, so they're kind of snooping around, and they find a storybook of Cricket's ancestor.
Noland.
Jojo his name is Mont Blanc Cricket, and apparently there's a story of his ancestor that there was gold on this island, And that was a story that this guy was just he was like a notorious liar, and he said that there's this island with a bunch of gold on it, and a king was sent there, and he got there and there was no gold or anything, and there was also a Sky Island, and they didn't find anything about Sky Island either. So, and he swore. Yep. He swore that it was there even until he was dying. They executed him for lying, and even when he was in jail, they said he was still lying, and they said, yeah, 400 years ago that happened. Um, let's see, and his name was Noland the liar. Cool. I've had the book, and we learn about the Suruyama alliance, which is Cricket and the two Monkey Brothers, and we learn that their whole goal is to find like the lost city of gold that's supposed to be on this island. And what they do is they dive down, and they that's where they actually meet Cricket, and he comes up and he tries to fight him. He's like, "Oh, you're trying to steal my gold," and they're like, "No." He's like, "Then what were you doing in my house?" They're like, "Well, nobody was here, so we just started looking." And he came up and he had like I think it's like NO2 poisoning. It's the not the bumps, but
It's
when you dive up and
yeah
nitrous oxide. I think. No,
yeah when
that's
you
not it.
dive up too fast for being at a certain elevation in the water. It's bubbles in your blood.
Yeah, and the more you come up, the more the bubbles expand in your bloodstream, and then it can cause you a heart attack. And so Chopper helped him with that because he's a doctor. So now he's all happy, and they're all like, oh yeah, do you guys are trying to go to Sky Island? Okay, yeah, we'll repair your ship. Let's have a feast. Cool, awesome. Let's see. Let's see. Uh, Real Mont Block. Um, Nolan. Yep, Nolan's story. There it is. Um, and they find a Sky Island book, and they're also told. Oh, and then at the end of this particular episode, we see Mihawk, and he sees the new bounty for Luffy, which is 100 million. He's just like, wow, this is a lot. Oh my god.
If only they gave him Christopher Walken's voice for voice actor.
Mm-hmm. The Sky Island. So the Sky Island book, what was it? It kind of showed. It didn't have a map of Skypiea because they already had that, but it was like a guide on how to get up to Sky Island.
Yep.
And one of the things that they learned was that there's these things called fossilized clouds, and they're clouds that are so dense that light can't get through them, and they're clouds that you can actually that are like land. And Luffy doesn't understand this. He's like, aren't all clouds like that? And everybody's like, no. So, um, and then they learn about in the book they learn about the knock-up stream, and it's like the only way to get to Sky Island is you have to be like in the center of this thing, and they explain it where there's different volcanoes and there's like bubbles of heat bubbles, and when it gets hot enough, it all comes out at once, and that it's so intense that it can push even a ship up to the top and make it all the way to Sky Island. And if you're off by a little bit, then your ship can fall and it can get destroyed, kind of thing. So it's very very risky what they're doing. But Luffy is just like, no, we're gonna go, haha. Anyways, so they also um, need to find a what is called a south bird, and it's a bird that always points south, always in the direction of south. And so there's this whole thing. Uh, oh, we also find that Luffy is an expert on bugs, especially beetles, and it just like comes out of nowhere. He's like, oh my god, wow, uh, Hercules beetle, wow, this is so cool. Oh my
All
god.
because of you, Mike.
What?
Mike says, "What more One Piece? Hell yeah!"
I blame you for having us do this. How about that? So anyway, so they're looking for the Southberg, and the Southberg is apparently able to. Um, it wants to protect the forest, and it will kill whoever's it is in their way, and so they're summoning like bugs and different creatures of the forest at everybody who's looking for this bird. And Chopper like talks to it, and he's just like, "Hey, what are you doing?" He's like, "I'm gonna kill you because you're trying to ruin the forest." And it's like, oh, okay, cool. Anyways, so there's this whole thing in the forest where they're fighting, and we learn that Nami and Sanji are terrified of bugs and different creatures, and Usopp is totally. He's just like, oh look, it's a tarantula spider. Cool. Oh, it's a whole bunch of tarantula spiders. Yeah, I see these guys all the time. Anyways, and while they're trying to get the Southbird, uh, Bellamy comes to Cricket because when they were beating up Zoro and Luffy, they're talking about, talking about getting to the Sky Islands, and they're talking about, oh, there's this Cricket guy, and they're like, oh, well, this Cricket guy, I hear he has gold. Yeah, we should go steal his gold. Okay, and so they come, and it's just Cricket and the two Monkey Brothers, and they come and they're like, hey, we want your gold, and Cricket and the Monkey Brothers are like, how about no? They're like, well, we're gonna take it anyways. Ha 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 ha. You're too weak. And so they start like beating them and beating them, and we find out Bellamy's uh, uh, devil fruit power, and it's the spring fruit, and you know, Cricket and the two Monkey Brothers get their asses kicked. Uh, what's his name? Masira gets an axe to the back, and Shoujo gets thrown into the sea. So they're both dead. Cool. And Cricket is on his like last life. He's barely alive at this point, and they steal the gold, which is cool. Well, for them. Uh, and then this really pisses off Luffy, and Luffy's like, where did they go? And their whole plan was they need to, by the next morning, they need to repair the ship and start sail south to catch um, the what are they called? The knock up stream.
Mike said he figured you'd be enjoying this.
I do like the anime. I just don't like how it takes so long. 1,000 episodes? Are you kidding me? It's great anime, great story. I freaking love it. But 1,000 episodes? Really? Come on, come on. I mean, come on.
1,000 and counting.
18 million episodes. Oh. Anyways, so Luffy gets mad, and Luffy makes a uh, makes a unanimous decision for himself that he is going to go run back to Mocktown by following the shoreline and beat him up, and then come back in time with the gold so they can sail in the morning. And so he runs off, and while he's gone,
Mike said,
no,
ha ha ha.
now Nami is just nagging. She's just like, oh my god, I can't believe you left. Oh my god, that's Nami in a nutshell. She loves to nag. That's really annoying. Anyways, we actually find out that
1100
the monkey, oh Jesus, the
and
monkey,
counting.
yeah, the monkey brothers are actually alive, and I was like, oh, that's awesome. And so he goes back to
let, let me ask you
Lockdown.
this, Mike. Are you willing to give him a break once we catch up to get past Wano and wait till Egghead finishes to cover Egghead? Are you gonna give him a break then?
Well, we still got a frickin' 1,000
I know.
episodes before we
Yeah.
get to that. So in about 8 years, we will get to that.
Won't take
Oh
that
my
long.
god. All right. I'm being hyperbolic. Let's go. Where was I? Oh, right. Then we have a fight between Bellamy and Luffy, and this is a fantastic fight. Luffy comes back and um, he's all pissed off, and meanwhile, there, there's a newspaper delivery, and this guy's like, "Oh, look, a newspaper delivery. Oh, what's in here? Oh, just some new bounties." And he sees Luffy's picture, and he's like, "Oh, Luffy's picture. Ah, the $30 million one." Of course, he looks down, and he goes, "Huh."
Mike said, sure.
100 million. I must get my eyes checked. So he checks it again, and he's just like, I think my eyes are broken. And he checks it again. Does a triple take, not the double take. He does a triple take,
Only
and
once we get to Egghead?
instead of 30 million, he sees 100 million, and he runs into the bar where the Bellamy's gang is, and he's like Bellamy, is you know those two guys? Yeah, yeah, that straw hat guy. He's 100 million. He's just like, and everybody gets scared, and then they're like, and then Bellamy's just like, wait a minute, hold on. He probably lied about it. I mean, look how scrawny that guy was. I mean, people lie about that stuff all the time. They probably haven't done anything. I mean, no one's heard about him like before, and it's is all it is what it is. It's definitely is probably even the 30 million one is probably exaggerated. Just try to get clout, and everybody and all the whole gang is just like, oh yeah, that's right. They go back to drinking, and then Luffy walks in. He's just like, hi, I'm gonna fight. Give me the gold back, please. And one of his henchmen goes up to Luffy and tries to pound him. Uh, that fails, and this pisses off Bellamy. He's just like, all right, well, you want to fight? I'll give you something to fight about. And Bellamy is basically attacking Luffy again and again and again and again. He does this move where he just bounces all over the place. He's like, oh, I'm gonna hit you. And he's like, I bet you can't. I bet you can't hit me. And Luffy just like with one giant punch, uh, with him being super pissed off, he knocks out Bellamy, and his one henchman is like, he's like, hey, Bellamy, stop kidding around. Come on, get up, Bellamy. And so he gets the gold back, and as he's about to leave, and one of the henchmen is like, oh, I'm gonna attack you, and he's like, where are you going? And Luffy turns around, holds up his arm or whatever, and he's like, me? I'm going to the sky, and they just runs back because that's how he does it. So he runs back. Here Nami uh, is nagging. And they're like, "Oh my god, he's not coming! Oh, you're gonna have to do all this stuff, and he's doing all this stuff, blah 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 blah." And they make it back, and then we get a whole slew of new characters, which we talked about earlier. We learn about it's a place in the world government, and they're having a meeting regarding Crocodile being defeated, So now there's only 6 warlords, and the meaning is about them trying to find a 7th one. And so they're recalling all the warlords, and then they realize that well, not all of them are going to come, but they might get some of them. And let's see, who are we introduced? 5 elders of the world government. We learn about there are three great powers. They're worried about not having 7 is going to cause an imbalance in the world of the three great powers. We don't know what this is yet, but it sounds interesting, fascinating. It's like, what are the 3 great powers? Or what is this? What is this? It leads to so many more questions. Um, so the world government wants Luffy dead for disrupting this balance, and so um, I think they're sending. That's why they increased his bounty to 100 million, and they want to target him personally. They just haven't found him yet. And we're introduced to. I'm gonna butcher these names, so hold on, Pierre. Don Quixote, Do,
Danny Quixote do Flamengo.
Don Quixote do Flamingo, and Bartholomew Kuma. These are 2 warlords of the sea. Don Flamingo's bounty is 340 million berries, and Bartholomew Kuma's is 296 billion berries. We are also introduced to Vice Admiral Great Tactician Tsuru and Fleet Admiral Saint Sengoku. They start having a meeting, and they are rudely interrupted by a man called Lafitte, and he has some business being there. Um, and also, funny thing, we kind of see Don Flamingo's power. He's able to like control other people
Yep.
in a special way. We don't know what his fruit is, but we'll learn that later. But it was kind of fun to see him like messing around with the Marines. You don't have to tell me.
No,
I don't want to know.
I was gonna, if, Mike, if you're still here, how about we give him a little bit of a break after Marineford, because that's also when time skip happens. Because that's about halfway into what's currently available. Because that'd be up until episode 516.
Alright, so.
Because then there's a time skip, and then we can watch a few smaller series, and then go to the post time skip after watching a couple small series, like ones that we can just cover in a week.
Okay, cool.
To give you a little bit, like a couple week break.
Sweet. Thank you. Thank you.
But still have about 400 episodes to go till that.
Yep.
I just figured because there's a time skip in the anime, so go till the time skip and then take a little break,
Okay.
like maybe a month. Mike said sure.
Cool. What about you, audience?
Mike is the audience.
Do you think this is cool?
do
Audience?
you agree, Mike? That's probably a good kind of spot to take a break because of the time skip.
He said sure.
No, I asked him if he was okay with that. I didn't ask him if he agreed.
Oh.
Continue. Because
Anyways,
that's what I was looking up.
Okay, so Saint Sengoku, Lafitte is there, and he wants to do a business deal with the council of the 5 elders or whatever. Then we have introduced to a guy named Rockstar. We learn that his bounty is 94 million berries, and he is a new member of the Red-Haired Pirates, and he is at Whitebeard's ship, and he's delivering a message from what's his name? Sen? No, the guy who gave Luffy his hammer.
Shanks.
Shanks. Uh, Shanks wants to send him a message, and Whitebeard is like getting medical treatments from these
Don't tell him that,
nurses.
Mike.
He's getting medical treatments. I didn't read it. It's probably spoilers.
No, he said you can take a break whenever you want.
All right now. Let's go. Oh,
I think
we're gonna
after
have a little intermission right now. How
I,
about that?
I
Right in
think
the middle, we're talking
after
about Whitebeard.
I think after Marineford would be a good spot. Just more episodes to watch when you're done taking the break. But
Yep.
Marineford is a good spot because that is a giant arc. You can
Go. Oh, okay. All right. So yeah, Whitebeard. It is the great pirate Edward Newgate, Whitebeard, the strongest man in the world, and he tears up the message from Redbeard, and Redbeard is sent back to Shanks, and Shanks just laughs it off. He's like, hey, if he wants to talk to me, he needs to come talk to me in person, kind of thing. And we learn 2 seconds later that Pie Guy is actually Blackbeard, and the guy that informed Bellamy of the $100 million bounty works for Blackbeard, and his name is Doc Q the Reaper. And he's like, oh my God, hey, there's these two guys that were in here. One's 60 million, and the other's 100 million. They're like, oh, cool. Well, we were waiting for Lafette to come back, but I guess we can do a side quest. This will be fun. And so they're like, yeah, let's go get a bounty. Um, we are also introduced to
We'll
two more.
probably still get to the point. We'll probably it'll still be on a break by the time we get to Marineford, I assume, because that's 6 months.
Captain. His name is Captain Marshall D. Teach, and he is Blackbeard. Um, Sniper. So the sniper guy from earlier, Sniper Van Ayer, the Supersonic, is the other one, and oh right, and Jesus Burgess the Champion. So these are all cool. These are all things. Is that the same kid?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Anyways, so that happens, and the next episode, um, the Going Merry gets upgraded to a flying model. They're able to repair it in time. Luffy makes it back to the ship, and they're like, "All right, let's head off." And the two monkey brothers and Cricket agree to help them. And the two monkey brothers are on their own like ship, and they're like, "Yeah, we'll guide you into the whirlpool, and it'll be cool." Puts the lotion on its skin. Let's see. And as they're going to the whirlpool, they slowly go down and make it to the bottom where it's super calm. And while on the bottom, they see, yeah, I'm not paying attention to that. They see, um, they see Blackbeard, and it's a tense, super tense scene when they see Blackbeard, and they're going up. They're also going up the knock-up stream, because as they're going the knock-up stream, Blackbeard and his crew get pushed out, and they go straight up, and this current, it's a cylinder of water just going straight up into the sky, and the ship is riding the current on the side, and as it's riding the current on the side, the I think it's the bow of the ship, the front of the ship, um, starts tipping upward, meaning that if it tips up too much, um, they can fall off, kind of thing. Uh, and so Nami uses her navigational skills. She's like, "Put up the sails. We're gonna make it." Blah blah blah, and everybody's like freaked out. And meanwhile, this whole time, Usopp is terrified. He's like, "No no no, take us on your ship, monkey boys. Oh, why did we come here? Oh my god." Because they're literally vertical, and there's nothing, excuse me, nothing they could do. But they make it, and immediately they make it, and Usopp dives into the cloud ocean, and he's like, "Oh wow, it's so easy to swim here." And then they all realize at the same time, like, "Wait, is there a bottom to this ocean?" And they're like, "No, I don't think so." So Luffy takes his arm, fishes for Usopp, who has fallen through the bottom, and Nico Robin uh, uses her powers to put eyes on his hand, so she can see, like, she can tell Luffy where to go, and she's like, "Oh, I don't see him. Oh, wait, there he is." And then she uses more of her power to hook up arm after arm after arm to grab Usopp, which is which is nice of them. And
No,
as
I don't. I
what?
think they should have let him fall.
Yeah, well, he's dumb. It's called Darwinism, survival of the fittest. That includes stupid things. Um, but you're right. They probably should have let him fall. Uh, let's see. Cloud Ocean. Usopp dives in the Cloud Ocean, and there's cloud animals. There's different cloud fish. Uh, and so Usopp gets saved, and along with them is a fish, and it's like flopping. They're all looking at this skyfish. They're like, "Wow, that's so cool. How does it?" They're curious how it functions, and immediately Sanji cooks it, and they all eat it. They're like, "Ooh, this is really good." And then after that happens, they see another ship. They're like, "Oh, look, another ship over there," and a man that's on the cloud ocean, and oh, there's a man in the sea and a ship. Okay, that's weird. And he destroys the ship, and they're like, "Oh crap, that man's coming for us next. Oh no!" And so they get ready to fight, but because they're 7,000 meters higher in elevation, the air is thinner, so it's hard to breathe. Um, and being it hard to breathe, you can't fight as well. So they all get out their weapons, are ready to fight, and they all get beat down by this guy. And they are actually saved by a Sky Knight by the name of Ganfall and his steed, Pierre, who is a bird which took a
Horse fruit.
yes horse fruit, zone fruit, which means it's half horse and half bird. And Nami is told, "Oh, half horse, half bird. Oh, it's a Pegasus," and it's just like the ugliest thing ever, which is great.
It's like if you actually fuse a bird and a horse together, what it actually look like.
Yeah, it's ugly.
Because
That's the only word to describe it.
if you actually took the two and then change it to look more majestic,
I it's the most unmajestic thing ever. Anyways, um, so then they're told, like, "Hey, this guy's like, hey, did you come through this place?" And they're like, "What place?" He's like, "Oh, there's another easier way to get up here." And they're all like, "What? There was an easier way to get up here?" Um, they chose the sky, the knock up. No, what is it called?
the knock up draft.
Knock up,
Draft.
knock up current. Where did I write that down? Knock up stream. That's it. Uh, so he's like, "Oh yeah, I'll if you pay me 5 million X amount of money, I'll give you a whistle and you can summon me whenever you want. And they're like, well, we don't have any of that currency. And he's like, oh, well, this one's free, I guess. And he gives them a whistle, and he's just like, if something comes up, blow the whistle. And they immediately get lost, and Luffy's like, maybe we should summon that guy. They're like, no, don't summon him. We only have one.
Which
So
is a
so they're
constant thing
navigating.
he asks throughout these episodes.
Yeah. Uh, and then then they make it to a place called a waterfall. They see a giant waterfall leading upwards. And they're like, and they look at the log pose, and it's still pointing upwards, meaning they haven't made it to the island, and they're confused. Like, I thought we made it to Sky Island, but nope, they still got to go higher. So there's this waterfall. It's like an upwards waterfall or downward. No, I suppose the waterfalls fall down. But so they come to this gate. It's called Heaven's Gate, and there's this woman. She immediately introduces herself as Amazon,
Yep.
an older woman, and she takes pictures of them. And she says, "Hey, if you guys want to get past here and go up there, it'll be 1 billion
1 billion.
Ryus or something. I don't remember. It starts with an R. It's a different currency than berries, so they're like they look at each other like we don't have that, and she's like, oh, you don't? Okay, well that's fine. You can still go through. And they're like, what, really? She's like, yep, I'm not gonna stop you. And they're like, okay, cool. And
Or it was that amount per person. So it's 7 in total.
yeah, 1 billion per person. Um, and so they're like, oh, okay, cool. And so
Extol.
it's the
It's called an
Godlands
Extol.
Extol.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it started with an R. Oh, maybe it started with an E.
It's the first other currency introduced other than berry.
Cool. So Godland Skypia is the place. So this is the Heaven's Gate. It's like a screw that goes skyward, and she's like, "Yep, you'll be tested." And they're like, "Oh, okay, cool. Well, will they make it up to the top?" And they immediately make um, landfall, and they meet a guy named or a woman named uh, Conus,
Yep.
and we are immediately introduced to her dad, Pagaya,
Pagaya. Yep.
and they're like, "Hey, this is our first time here. Do you want to help us out?" Kind of thing. They're like, "Sure. Let me introduce you to different things." And they're like, "Oh, that's cool." And Conus has a sailless boat, and Nami is very interested in this thing, and you hit a pedal and it just goes, and they're like, whoa, what is that? And so Luffy tries to pilot it, and he fails, of course, and he starts falling through the ocean because he took the devil fruit, and so he has to get saved, of course. But Nami is actually really good uh, with this machinery because she's a navigator or whatever. And we're introduced to dials, which is the technology of the Sky People. Um, we are also introduced to different kinds of clouds. We have sea clouds, which is the ocean, and then we have island clouds, and those are two different materials. We are also introduced to man-made clouds, which is used for like building stuff, and they mine it out of the ground or the island clouds. Um, and so three different types of clouds. Um, oh, by the way, I wrote some side notes here. So when Luffy was running back, he actually captured a Hercules beetle, which is why it took him a little extra long to get back. He's like, I finally did it. I finally caught a Hercules beetle. And they're like, what? You were searching for a beetle the whole time? Um, and people down below are referred to as Blue Sea people, and the cloud sea is known as the White Sea. Um, you have other ways of getting to Sky Island. There are also multiple islands. There's not just the one island. There's multiple islands in the Sky Islands. Um, and when they introduce each other, when they say, instead of saying hello, they say Hesso, which is like their own like personal greeting. Hesso, like this, or was it their left hand? I can't remember. It doesn't matter. Um, I guess it's the Sky People greeting that they just use. Um, and three types of clouds, so I got them all. Cool. Um, yeah, I wrote down cloud lore, and I wrote down pyro pyro blow in. I think that was the one in the clouds, in the man-made clouds. There's this they talk about the nucleus of the clouds, and there's a pyroglobin, and they use these specific clouds and turn it into different material to build stuff. Um, it's kind of fascinating how much detailed uh, this world is. Like even in the whole series, that's fascinating. I believe. Let's see here. Oh, and then we're introduced to more of the dials, and one was a tone dial, which was like a thing you could say stuff in, and it's a voice recorder basically. And the other was a breath dial, and the breath dial is used on ships, and it blows air continuously. With how does this work? I don't know, but it's just these specific shells. And she also said there was like skating dials and another kind of dial. There's many different dials, and their culture grew around around this technology, which is cool. Um, so they're also told that there is um, a forbidden island that they're not supposed to go to, and of course Nami is having fun on her little boat, and they start to worry about Nami because she's been gone for so long, and she said, Konis says that if you go to that island, it'll piss off our god Enel. You're not nobody's supposed to go on that island, and if you do, bad things happen. Nobody survives. Um, and then of course Nami's there, and she witnesses different different things. It's Forbidden Island. Nami's exploring water, and she witnesses like a hunt. These people are hunting this man. She witnesses that, and she also discovers a boat with nobody on it, except a shell that it was the talking shell, the tone shell, and the message was like, "Oh, there's treasure on this island. I'm gonna go explore it." And another message was like, "Oh my God, they're coming for us. We need to
Tone
leave." Blah blah
dial.
blah 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 blah. Yep, tone dial.
You said shell.
Oh, well, they are shells, tone dials, whatever. Um, I don't care about the details. It doesn't need to be right, or does it?
It does.
Okay. Anyways, hunt and and then there's some. This guy sees Nami and he's like, "Please help me, let me get on your boat." And she's like, It's a one person boat." He's just like, "You better let me on that boat, or else I'm gonna cut you." And immediately there's like this power that comes down from the sky, and a it's like a light blue cylinder thing that's shining, and it basically destroys him. And Nami is able to get away. And also the guy that attacked them on their boat before was sailing to that island and saw Nami, and I guess was about to attack her, but then that attack happened. So Enel's attack, I guess. Oh, my back is. what's the fact? Oh, it's a thing you have to click on. Never mind. Power of analysis, and then we are introduced to the greatest man that's to ever live, Captain McKinley of the White Berets, the Skypea Police. Uh, oh, you can't see it in the light, but it's like this. Let's see. Oh, awesome. So he's just like, oh, I'm coming for these. They hear about criminals, and they hear about there's some criminals on an island, and I think they confuse the Straw Hat Pirates with the people who are actually violating being on the island. Uh, so he comes to where they're at, and he just starts spouting off, violate you violated this thing, you have violated this thing. It's just like, oh, it's an 11th degree offense. Oh, that, and they do something else. Oh, that's a 10th degree offense. They do something else. Oh, that's an 8th degree offense, and like they can get out of it by paying the 10 times the original amount of in berries, and this is where we learn the exchange rate. Uh, and like a, it was like 7 billion of the what was the currency as coal
As to
as
X
coal
toll.
Xtol is equivalent to 700,000 berries, and so if they just would have paid that, they would have been able to be fine. But they didn't know anything about the currency or anything. But they also count money on the ship, and they only have 50,000 berries anyways, and that's barely enough for 2 days of food. We learn. Let's see. So there's all these violations. Nami, and then Nami returns on the what's it called, the waiver, and she crashes into the captain, and she's like, oh, because she hears about like them having to pay a fine or whatever, and she's like, no, that's too much, and she's like, oh, I'm sorry, I hit your captain, and they're like, oh, this is a second degree violation. And they're like, oh, well, it was an accident. Yeah, I don't think we should have to do anything. I mean, we'll pay your fine, blah, blah, blah. And of course, she tries to get out of it, not taking any accountability. Cool. So, a second level offense is equivalent to the death penalty, and they're currently under arrest. They haven't been arrested yet, but they're definitely under arrest. Um, then we have a bunch of the Captain McKinley's men go after Luffy and the gang, and we get Gumu Gumu fireworks, and it's this really cool thing. And then they attack them with, they have they're not guns, they're like bazookas, and they fire. What do they call it? 70 I didn't write it down, but it was like a special stream of cloud, and they were able to skate on these things. So they had swords and they were skating on them. And Luffy goes, "Yeah, that's the bazooka thing."
Dial barred bazooka.
Okay, cool.
Burn bazooka.
Like a burn bazooka. Suck it, suck it. Let's see here. Um,
Can fire a large blast of white blue flames caused by the ignition of the bazooka and the gas released from the dial within.
and they're able to skate on these different streams of clouds, and they're like more purplish, and they're skating on them, and they use their swords to attack people. And Luffy was able to attack, counterattack all of them with his Gumu Gumu fireworks, and they are now officially second degree criminals, which is the death penalty, which means they're suffered to be on a, I think it was like the 5th or 6th level that they got, that it was sentenced to staying on their ship on a cloud, and the one that initially fell on them from 200 years ago, uh, they hypothesized was a ship that was sentenced to be on this cloud for X amount of years, and they couldn't get off. So yeah, they were screwed. They're like, yeah, we can't do that. Anyways, so they find that they can escape by going on a route to Cloud N, which takes them off of the island, and it's on like the other side of where they're at, of the island or where they're at. Let's see, and then so that's what Conius tells them, and she's like, yeah. Um, uh, Nico Robin is immediately suspicious of this, and she's like, isn't it convenient that there's suddenly a way to get off this island, and Conus is telling us where to go, kind of thing. And after they pull up the anchor, half I think it's like Luffy, Sanji, and Usopp are inside making lunch. Everybody else is on the boat getting ready for their departure, and a super express lobster takes the boat and is like going off, and they're told, oh, they're going to being led to the upper yard um, to be sacrificed on this altar. It's where they get judged. Um, and we learned that there are two different judgments. One is sacrifices, the other is ordeals, and I guess we'll see that um, in the next half of this arc. Um, but they learn about milky roads, and um, milky roads are they have this old map from 200 years ago, but it doesn't show the milky roads, and the milky roads are new, like new roads that are built. They can actually build roads with clouds now, and they kind of crisscross everywhere on the island for easier transportation and all that stuff, all that jazz. Um, so they start. So Conus agrees to take Luffy, Sanji, and Usopp um, to where their boat is heading, and it's what did I say, the upper yard, and she's like, yeah, I'll take you guys there, and they're walking through the street. It's called Loving Street, which is a local town, and everybody's giving them the cold shoulder, and they don't like them, and they're like, so someone asks, like, why are they looking at us like that? Oh, I don't know, maybe because we just became giant criminals. Oh, okay, that makes sense. And Luffy doesn't want to leave. He loves this place for whatever reason. He's like discovering stuff, and Conus starts to break down. She starts crying. She's acting like strange. She's acting sad as she's trying to help them. But we learn that um, Conus betrays them and says, like, I was the one that called that lobster to get your boat, and it's the citizens' duty. Like, if we don't do that, we get in trouble. We'll get killed ourselves. So we have to do this. Yeah, citizens' duty, and then the townspeople, even the even the Captain McKinley, who is they also have this weird thing where they crawl like crabs on the ground, which is really weird.
Mm-hmm.
But he's like following the group, and he's just like, huh, I'm gonna see what you guys do. Everybody chooses themselves when it comes to everybody talks about adventure and dreams, but when it comes down to it, they always choose themselves. They always choose to spare themselves. And they keep saying that. Even the townspeople keep saying that. And they're like, "What are you doing?" Kind of thing. And so Anel's judgment comes down because she's telling them uh, what she's doing, and they're not supposed to be doing that. So Anel's judgment comes down, and Luffy immediately grabs her and tries to get out of the way, and at the last second is saved by the Sky Knight, Van Pell, or no, what's it?
Grand Bell.
Gan Pell, that's it. And Gan Gan fell. I wrote Gan fall. Ha ha ha! I'm dumb. Uh,
So
so
did
they saved
I.
him again. He's like, oh, that's another free one you guys get, and um, so Conus goes with Ganfell, and they find a boat, and they they're supposed to use this boat to get to the upper yard to save their friends. And at the as she's riding with Ganfell, she's like, "Are you gonna come back to us, God, or Kami, or whatever? When are you gonna come back to us?" And it's just like I wrote down Ganfell equals God question mark. So dun dun dun, who is this guy? Sister Sky Knight. Um, so we found Enel's wrath, this this other god that must have taken over sometime ago. So that was that. I'm so far I am liking Sky Island. Hopefully they didn't take too long over review. What are we at?
An hour.
An hour? Okay. Um, so whoever's watching, I think Mike is still watching. Anybody else is watching, and you like this,
Please,
unlike and unsubscribe.
or if you think it went too long, please give us your opinion on how we can shorten it.
Yeah, I think we can. I think less detail is how you kind of do that.
There's nobody currently watching.
That's right. Suck it. Um, get high in the sky. That's right. You should show us with like red eyes. Oh, hey, look, no new subscribers. Isn't that fun?
Or I looked at my number of videos and I mistook that as subscribers, so I was very confused.
Oh.
So I was like, "What? When did I go down 32,000 subscribers?"
33.3%. All right. You have 1,000 videos? God.
Yeah, mainly because of all
Nerd.
my daily streaming for video games.
Oh, yeah.
Because when I'm playing games, I just live stream it.
But anyways, um, I'm liking this so far. The mystery with what is Sky Island? Who is Cricket? Who is Blackbeard? What are these three world powers? We're getting introduced to all these like different characters, Blackbeard and Whitebeard, and who the heck are they? And um, why?
And what are they?
Why is this? Why are they? Why are there so many charges thrown their way? Like, why do they hate foreigners? Kind of a thing. Um, Even though they're just visiting, do they have a lot of people that come up there and are just dicks or something? Um,
Ducks. People that are ducks.
yeah, like the different violations. They were like,
No, I meant it's PG-13.
oh, what did I say? Did I swear?
Yeah.
Oh. Oh, I don't. I just said
you
it.
said the opposite of ducks.
Bucks. That's what I said. Uh,
And
the
before
different. Sorry.
you said the F word.
Yeah. Well, I think I. That's when I said whoops. But I didn't real. I didn't know I said it that time. What the feck? Factopia. What was I saying? I got distracted me. Um, oh, the many violations. Like they got told like, oh, you did this violation, and then they're fishing, and they catch a fish that's it's a fish you're not supposed to catch. They're like, oh, he's like, oh, another violation. You caught a fish you're not supposed to catch, and it was about to eat Conus, and Zoro stepped in and just bashed it on the head with his sword. He's like, oh, you attacked an endangered fish. That's another violation. Oh, oh, you killed a fish. That's another violation. And then Luffy bites the fish, wanting to curious about how it tastes. He's like, oh, eating a fish is another violation. He just keeps tacking on violations, and it's just like at that point, just like, well, we're just not gonna listen to
Why
you.
don't I just execute him? at that point.
Yeah, well, they need to execute him in their own special way. But, so, and they were like, well, it was about to eat this girl. Like, well, I mean, let it eat it? Let it eat her? And then now she's dead, and you're going to blame us for that. Um, but he just keeps checking this stuff on, and then Nami comes. He's like, I'm going to save the day, and she doesn't. Um, she likes to nag. That's her power, is the power of nagging. I think Mike wrote some more stuff.
No,
Or is that from earlier?
earlier.
Okay.
And Zoro's power is the power of no GPS.
Yep.
His power is the power of getting lost.
Mm-hmm.
Which I still laugh at thinking on how they actually pointed that out in Alabasta arc.
Yeah, there was like, I think in
When he's trying to find them, or when they're trying to find the bomb, and the Marines say, "We know you're horrible at directions, but."
yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
there's
I was told to go up. I was told to go north.
and
North
goes
isn't up.
Yeah. Tower. What's the filler episode? There was like a filler episode. They reach an island, and Zoro goes and explores, and he makes it to this one spot, and he comes back. He's like, well, it's on that. There's a thing that they're looking for. They're like, oh, I found the thing. It's over there, but don't walk there. It took me a really long time to get there, and they make it there in like 1/4 of the time. They're like, oh, there's another way to get here.
Let's see, can this or not where in the world
But yeah, I'm enjoying One Piece so far. Like it's hard to start it, but once you get to a certain point, it becomes fun, and you want to like watch more and more episodes. And the character building is cool, and you learn. I think the biggest mystery in this whole series so far. The biggest mystery in this whole series so far is Luffy himself, because you know literally nothing about him. You know more about the side characters than you know about Luffy or anything, which is kind of cool. Um, and they're just going around having adventures. Like, I want to go on an adventure, and they run into different stuff. And if this was like a D&D campaign or something like that, it would be like really fun to be working with this DM who has all these like different cool characters, and there's actually like consequences, and they have to actually spend money and actually buy stuff, cook things, and then they get injured, they have to fight off different diseases, and um, run into different people who have different philosophies, and as everyone is different, and stories may be similar, but they're always going to be different in their own special way, and different. You're going to have different characters, and some are good, some are bad, and just having this person as a DM, Ichida Oda,
Eiichiro Oda.
Ichiro Oda, um, would be a fun person to have as your DM, because you could be like, oh yeah, hey look me, hey look, I'm Nami, I'm a rogue, I'm gonna go around stealing stuff. Hey look, I'm Zoro, I'm gonna be the greatest swordsman, and I don't have 2 swords, but I have 3 swords because I'm awesome. And what's my flaw? I don't have any general sense of any direction. I'm gonna be Luffy, and I don't have a backstory yet. Luffy's like, I don't have a backstory yet, but I'll fill it in as we go along. And I got super stretchy arms. And then Usopp is our bard, and we got his story of like, oh yeah, he pretends to be brave, but he's not. And then you have Chopper, who's like, oh, I'm the cleric of the group. I'm the healer, but I can also like fight really good, and I can turn into different things with my super cool fruit powers. But I believe everything people say always, especially Usopp with his lies. It's like, um, Who else? And then Sanji. Oh yeah, I'm a monk, but I only fight with my feet. I don't use my hands because I'm also the chef, and I make cool things. My weakness is women. I'm a huge simp, kind of thing. And Nico Robin. Oh yeah, I don't know what her thing would be. Would it be like a not a wizard, but like a summoner maybe? She summons hands and fights for her or something like that. I guess. And she's like, "Oh, I used to work for this really mean guy, but I was on the run for 20 years, and I'm now 28, and I just wanted to have fun. And this guy comes up to me one day, and he saved my life, and I'm really mad about that. Blah blah blah. And now I'm with it. And now I'm with these guys, but." We don't know Nick Robin's weakness. I guess it's uh, people being loud or something. But yeah, I'm enjoying this adventure, and just the world itself is really cool. Like he makes chaos makes sense. If if that makes sense, he makes this chaotic world of the Grand Line where there's an infinite number of islands that can be thought up, and the different weather patterns. Oh, we're coming to a different island. We don't know what's coming. They're kind of cut off, but some of the people that are traveling know what's happening. And then they have the communication system with the snails, and then like the seagulls who deliver mail everywhere, and the bounties, and the government, and the warlords, and these three powers. There's just like something that's bigger and bigger, and you're kind of not forced, but you're plopped into this big gigantic world, and you think you know things, but then you don't. So, um, yeah, I'm having fun with it so far. I mean, I won't rate it yet uh, because we're not done with this arc, but I'm liking it so far.
Uh, that's
Do you have anything to say?
no.
Oh, by the way, Mike, if you're still on, I'm glad you're feeling better. I'm glad you're out of the place. Do. So I think we can.
Yeah, that was our
End
review. Join us hopefully tomorrow for Basement Dwellers podcast,
Yep.
and join us next Tuesday if I decide to stream regular D&D, but join us Wednesday for Pokemon D&D, and then Thursday for the second half of Skypea. Plus, if we decide to do a movie this weekend,
Yep.
and then please let us know your opinion on how we can shorten this.
I think that's more on us.
And like, subscribe, comment, and movie recommendation. Even though I haven't seen it, go watch Brothers. Comes out tomorrow. Looks hilarious.
Sayonara.